Imagine a man so wealthy that his generosity single-handedly collapsed economies. A ruler whose gold-draped procession stretched as far as the eye could see. A man whose name still echoes through time as the richest person who ever lived. Yet, his immense fortune did not just bring prosperity, it brought chaos, inflation, and economic downfall. But before we dive into this tale of unimaginable wealth and its consequences, let me ask you this. What would you do if you had so much money that it literally broke the economy? It sounds like a dream, right? Well, for one man, it was a reality and a nightmare. Meet Mansa Musa, the 14th century emperor of Mali, the man who turned wealth into legend. But here's a question. If being rich is so great, why did his unimaginable fortune spell disaster for entire cities? Stick around, because what you're about to hear will change the way you think about wealth forever. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll be questioning everything you thought you knew about money, power, and success. Musa ascended to the throne of the Mali Empire in 1312, inheriting a land bursting with natural resources, particularly gold. And when I say gold, I mean tons of it literally. Mali was the heart of the global gold trade, controlling an estimated half of the world's supply. Picture a nation where gold flowed as freely as water, where rulers didn't just count their riches, they measured them in caravans and treasure chests. But even with this insane fortune, Musa didn't just sit on his piles of gold like a dragon. Oh no, he had a vision, to make Mali the greatest empire on earth. And he wasn't just about hoarding wealth, he wanted to share it. To build something that would last for centuries. But as we'll see, even the best intentions can have unintended consequences. Then came the journey, the infamous pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324. A voyage so extravagant that it remains one of history's most jaw-dropping displays of wealth. Musa didn't just travel. Paraded through Africa and the Middle East with an army of 60,000 men, each clad in gold and silk, 12,000 personal slaves carrying golden staffs, and a staggering 80 camels, each carrying hundreds of pounds of gold. By the way, if you think billionaires today are flashy, just imagine rolling into a city with your entourage of golden soldiers. It's like the Met Gala, but on steroids and with camels. But here's where things took a wild turn. He spent gold like it was going out of style, showering cities with so much wealth that it became a problem. In Cairo, Medina, and Mecca, he donated gold to the poor, built mosques, and gifted treasures to the rulers. Sounds noble, right? Except there was one little issue. Too much gold in circulation meant it became worthless. Inflation skyrocketed, and the very people Musa intended to help were suddenly struggling. Imagine waking up one day and realizing your money is worth a fraction of what it was yesterday. It sounds like a nightmare, doesn't it? And it wasn't just a bad day at the market. It was an economic apocalypse. For the next decade, Egypt's economy crumbled under the weight of Musa's generosity. Gold prices plummeted, merchants lost fortunes, and markets spiraled into chaos. He literally made gold too common. Now that's a flex. But here's the kicker. Musa didn't even realize the damage he was causing. He was just trying to be generous, to spread his wealth and goodwill. And yet his actions had consequences that rippled across continents. It's a stark reminder that even the best intentions can backfire, especially when you're dealing with unimaginable amounts of money. And yet, despite the financial shockwaves, Musa's impact went beyond gold. He transformed Mali into a global powerhouse. He built the legendary city of Timbuktu, making it a center of learning, trade, and culture. Scholars, architects, and traders from across the world flocked to his empire, eager to bask in its golden glow. Under his rule, Mali became a beacon of knowledge, with universities that rivaled the great institutions of Europe and the Middle East. It wasn't just about wealth, it was about legacy. Musa wanted to create something that would outlast him, something that would inspire generations to come. But here's the twist of Sir Musa's death. His empire began to fracture. Wealth alone could not sustain a kingdom. Mali's riches made it a target, and over the years, internal conflicts and external pressures chipped away at its power. It turns out that even the richest empire in the world isn't immune to collapse. And that's the paradox of wealth. It can build you up, but it can also tear you down. Musa's story is a cautionary tale, a reminder that money is just a tool and, like any tool, it can be used for good or for destruction. So what's the lesson here? Wealth is powerful, but uncontrolled riches can be dangerous. Musa's story is a paradox. He was both a builder and an unintentional destroyer. His wealth made him a legend, but it also served as a cautionary tale. And here's the big question. If Musa, with all his resources, couldn't secure the future of his empire, what does that say about the way we chase wealth today? We often dream of riches beyond imagination, but history has shown us time and time again that wealth alone isn't enough. It's about how you wield it. It's about the choices you make, the legacy you leave behind, and the impact you have on the world. And speaking of wielding power, there's another historical figure whose fortune shaped the world in ways few understand. But that's a story for another day. Stay tuned, because next time, we're diving into the life of a man who turned debt into an empire and changed the course of history forever. Until then, remember this. Wealth is a tool, not a destination. Use it wisely.